They don't shackle you with chains anymore, they distract you. They don't silence you with violence, they drown you in noise. And by the time you realize what's happening, your strength is already slipping away, piece by piece. Today, they don't imprison you, they entertain you. They don't silence you with force, they flood you with noise. Every headline, every ping, every notification, all designed to fracture your attention, weaken your will, and make you forget the power you once had within. This isn't a conspiracy. There's no secret plan in a hidden room. It's simpler than that. It's the natural erosion of a world that has discovered something more effective than war or oppression, distraction. Because if they can keep you distracted, they don't need to control you. You'll control yourself. You'll sabotage your own potential. You'll burn out your own mind. The modern world isn't designed for clarity. It's built for chaos. The more confused you are, the easier it is to sell to you, move you, manipulate you. And the more likely you are to believe that every emotion you feel is a command you must obey. But if you really pause, if you step back from the noise, you'll begin to see almost everything around you is engineered to prevent you from becoming who you're capable of being. Your strength, your silence, your discipline. These aren't threats to other people, they're threats to systems that survive off your weakness. Because a man who sees clearly cannot be manipulated. A man who needs no approval cannot be controlled. A man who governs his emotions won't fall for traps designed to provoke them. That's why they don't want you calm. Because calm brings clarity, and clarity reveals just how much of your pain is self-inflicted, not caused by the world, but by your undisciplined reaction to it. They don't want you strong, because strength is discipline, and discipline builds walls between you and the stream of nonsense they want you to consume. They don't want you focused, because focus is dangerous. Focus builds careers, focus builds empires, focus builds inner peace. And there is nothing more subversive today than a human being who can sit still, stay calm, and act with intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But to realize that is to break the illusion. It's to understand that most of your pain is voluntary. Most of your distractions are chosen. You scroll endlessly not because you're bored, but because you're avoiding the deeper questions. Who am I without this noise? What would I hear in silence? What would happen if I? We spoke about noise and distraction, but what's left when all that fades? Silence. And for most, that's the scariest part. Not just a minute of silence, not even an hour, but a month, a year, a lifetime of real focus. There's a reason silence feels so uncomfortable today. It exposes the emptiness we've buried beneath dopamine hits and shiny distractions. But a Stoic, he doesn't run from silence. He steps into it like a warrior walking into battle, because he knows real strength isn't found in likes or applause. It's forged in solitude. It's built in quiet, invisible moments when you resist temptation, hold your ground, and choose principle over impulse. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." So ask yourself honestly, who's mastering you? Your schedule, or your screen, your vision, or your vices? Your inner compass, or the culture that never stops shifting? You don't need to scream to be powerful. You don't need to perform your emotions to prove they're real. And you definitely don't need to explain yourself to people who wouldn't understand your silence anyway. What you need and what they fear is for you to become grounded. So anchored in your own being that no wind, no trend, no crisis can shake you. You've been told that emotion is power. And yes, emotion can be powerful. But undisciplined emotion, that's a wildfire. It burns everything, including you. You feel rage and mistake it for strength. You feel pain and assume it's weakness. You feel fear and think it's truth. But the Stoic knows better. He observes his emotions, respects their presence, then chooses his response. Because he doesn't belong to what he feels. He belongs to what he builds. And he only builds with what's solid: logic, virtue, action. There's something unsettling about a man who doesn't flinch, doesn't argue, doesn't collapse under pressure. He isn't empty, he's composed. He's done the inner work. He's faced his shadows, not in public, not in a post, but in private. During long nights of reckoning, he's held his pain and reshaped it into purpose. And now the world doesn't know how to handle him, because he doesn't play the game. He doesn't shout. He doesn't beg. He moves with intention, with peace, with power. This isn't about being emotionless. That's not Stoicism, that's delusion. And now, it's time to go even deeper. After understanding that emotion isn't the enemy but a challenge to be guided, what comes next is this: understanding the true role of emotion. Emotion is a spark, not a flame. It's a signal, not a solution. And if you live by it, you'll be consumed by it. But if you learn to observe it, to filter it, to direct it through the fire of reason, then it becomes fuel. Then it becomes strength. Seneca said it best: we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. If that's true, then your greatest weapon is composure. Not the shallow kind that hides pain, but the quiet strength that comes from knowing. You were built to endure, to transform pain into wisdom, to turn hardship into clarity. Today, most men are drowning in information and starving for discipline. They are surrounded by comfort, yet weakened by it. They crumble at discomfort, lose themselves in chaos, and call it normal. Why? Because they've been told emotion is sacred. Comfort is a virtue, strength is dangerous, but you must be different. You must become the man who doesn't need to explain himself, who doesn't chase approval, who turns down the noise, not because it's hard to hear, but because it no longer matters. You must be dangerous, not through aggression, but through presence. Not by overpowering others, but by mastering yourself. There will always be reasons to give up, to delay, to soften. But that's not what you were made for. You were made to rise, to lead, to endure. And it all begins the moment you stop giving your mind away to systems that profit from your weakness. They want you distracted, reactive, soft, because it makes you easier to break. But if you become still, become focused, become unshakable, then watch how your calm begins to disturb the chaos, not by force, but by the weight of your presence. This is the Stoic path, the path of the man who wins the war within, the man no one can own, because he already owns himself.